With all the news stories lining up for the XRP token, we could easily see the price of this coin go over $10 in this bull market. And I still believe that we are in a bull market for crypto. In the last 24 hours, though, we have seen some very volatile news. For the general market, we saw a massive pump to the upside. Why? Because we saw a pause on most of the tariffs, not all the tariffs. There's still a 10% base tariff and massive tariffs for China, but with the words tariff pause, 90-day tariff pause coming out, we saw XRP shoot above $2. We saw Bitcoin shoot above $82,000. I think it got as high as like 84 or 85K. But in that same day, we also realized, oh wait, but there's still a lot of tariffs. And on top of it, for XRP, we found out that the Ripple lawsuit isn't over, which is unbelievable. Now, yesterday, I recorded a video on my walk all about XRP, and I didn't post it because in that video, I talked a lot about tariffs and how there was uncertainty, and then we had the tariff pause come out, and I was like, okay, I got to reassess this. Let me study these tariffs, see what's going on. I honestly wish I had posted that video anyway, because what I talked about is how $2 is going to be, it was extreme level support, and it is an extreme level of resistance. But when we had that tariff pause, we shot above $2, and now we're back down below it because reality is once again setting in that these tariffs are still providing uncertainty because it's not like they're over. There's still base tariffs, there's still negotiations to be done, and China and the US are still in an intense battle. Let's talk about this Ripple lawsuit and why it's still ongoing, because yes, they have reached a settlement, but no, it's not out of the courts yet. The court case isn't over, and there's still evidence being presented. We got to talk about it, guys. Welcome back to the Crypto Report, everybody. I'm Crypto Kip. Do me a favor, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into this thing, guys. So if you're looking at the markets, Bitcoin's now at $78,000 today. Earlier, yesterday, we were shooting up again because this tariff pause. We saw Ethereum get above $1,600, and everything is right back down to where it was. XRP is still the third largest crypto, excluding Tether. Still the third largest crypto is XRP by market cap, up 5% today. Actually, one of the strongest holding tokens out there in general, compared to what we've seen from these drops from their highs. Actually, XRP has been really, really strong. But we need to talk about this story. The SEC files new motion in Ripple lawsuit, says case is still on appeal. So looking through this, guys, this is a little bit crazy. You can kind of dig down into the weeds, and I'm just going to show you this. According to Morgan, this is a fellow on X, the case may have been settled, but it's not over. This suggests that although parties may have settled, which Brad Garlinghouse came out and said publicly that they did settle, as revealed by Ripple, it's the fact that they have not gone through the formal judicial process, which indicates that the case is not entirely over. And what we've got going on is we actually had somebody come out days after the non-parties request. Let's actually scroll up a little bit. So we saw that this guy, Justin W. Keener, filed a letter in the Ripple case last week, who is a non-party. He's a third party. He's not Ripple, and he's not the SEC. Very interesting. The non-party made an emergency request to present evidence favoring Ripple against the SEC and the liberty of Americans, right? Because we're fighting for the freedom of Americans when we're talking about the Ripple case in terms of their freedom to participate in crypto and basically not get Ripple squashed by the SEC and XRP squashed as well. You know, the SEC is opposing this request. So there's, again, the point of this story, guys, is there's still ongoing things happening in court, and the lawsuit is not over for the third largest cryptocurrency by market cap. A currency which I believe, sitting at $2 today, just under $2, could easily achieve $10. That's a 5x in the future. I think that Bitcoin could easily go above 200K, and I think that XRP could easily go above $10. One thing that is troubling for the crypto market in the short term, besides the uncertainty of tariffs, is these Fed rate cuts. We're not seeing the Fed rate cuts come yet. In fact, we have a 74% chance at the time of this recording that in May, we're not going to get a rate cut. In fact, we're probably going to get a rate pause. A rate cut, only a 25% chance of that in May. And in June, we do have a 66% chance. So eventually we'll get a rate cut. Why am I talking about rate cuts when I'm talking about XRP? Because if you want any risk on asset to rally, whether it is stocks, whether it is Bitcoin or XRP, you're going to want to see a rate cut because that will be an indication for people, traders, institutions to go after more risk on assets. That is historically how this has worked. Now, I was talking about the strong support and strong resistance at $2, which honestly was exactly right. And I had a little bit of hesitancy yesterday, and I didn't even post the XRP video that I recorded because, again, we broke above $2 right after I recorded a video. And I was like, well, the tariffs are over. Now that changes everything. And then I looked into it, and the truth is the tariffs are not over. There's still a 10% rate tariff, a base tariff in place. And you've also got the massive ongoing tariffs with China, like 120 something percent, and maybe even 180% tariffs the US is implementing on China. China's shooting back with 85% tariffs. So in these moves, there's volatility for trading, guys. If you want to trade for yourselves, you can sign up for Blowfin using the link in the description down below, up to a $5,000 deposit bonus when you sign up. Guys, there's strong resistance at $2. Now, we shot above it. So what I'm going to be looking at as is this $2.08 level as well, because that's what we wick to, but certainly $2. You can see we kind of dribbled down on $2 a couple times. Now we're back down below it. I wouldn't be surprised if we shot back up to $2, rejected off, and continued to the downside. Bitcoin is headed lower. We had a weekly candle that has flipped green, but it is starting to show weakness again because reality is setting in for these markets. The tariffs are not done yet. Things are looking better. Maybe 80 or 90% of the tariffs that were being implemented by the US are going to be just withdrawn because now maybe we're going to see some trade deals negotiated with other countries, and we're not going to penalize them with tariffs for having penalized us with tariffs. We're going to have to see how this shakes out. All that being said, that's uncertainty, guys. With the rate cut kind of waiting in the wings, we're still waiting to see that going on. With this uncertainty on tariffs, we could still see Bitcoin come down to 71K, guys. We see a lot of hope, like pre-optimistic bounces. We see a lot of basically premature bounces happening in this market. And when we see a bounce, all of a sudden everybody gets really bullish. We pump big time, and we're almost back to where we were yesterday. This is a wild time, guys. We are seeing inflation numbers come in a little bit better, which is actually really a thing that could potentially drive the Fed to cut rates, maybe even in May. Things are still heading in the right direction. But with the tariffs, I doubt it. We're still looking at June. I think that XRP can really find a floor sometime this summer, in June or July. And I think we start heading back up towards the end of the year. When are we going to see that $10 XRP price? Well, I think we can see it. It's my opinion. And I think we might be able to see it sometime in Q3 or Q4 of 2025. Likely end of Q3 is kind of what I'm looking at. Beginning of Q4. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. That's all I have for you in this video, guys. I'm Crypto Kip. This is a Crypto Report. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel, DCA HODL, and I'll see you in the next one, y'all. 2 videos here if you want to check them out. Peace, guys.